Okay, so what we're doing right here is I've already pulled up my, I've already like created my base and everything. And what I want to do is show you guys how to do your first pull and your second pull. But most importantly, the first pull. What I've noticed with literally 90% of the people that I've recently done consultations with is that they're just pulling way too fast and with not enough like strength and force. You know, like nobody's being aggressive enough with the clay, and I think that that's normal because, you know, when you start out, you're like, oh my gosh, this is like, you do one thing and it moves the whole thing off, which is true. But I want to show you guys how slowly I pull the piece up, and how I can like kind of count it so that it's going, so that I know that I'm like going the right speed. So I'm putting in my first indent. We've already talked about this, but we didn't really talk about the speed. I need to put my dry clay in here. We didn't really talk about the speed. What's going to happen is, so I'm doing my crab pull, which is my first pull, and it's this, and this, and this. Okay? This, this, this. And I am going to, every time it rotates, I'm going to move up a tiny bit. Now, this would probably take, I don't know, we'll see. It'll probably take 17, probably less maybe, rotations. Okay, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's how fast it's moving, right? So, watch how slowly I'm moving up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 25. And what you'll notice before I clean it off is this. Do you see all of these? That's how far I'm going up each time the clay rotates. And that's not very fast, right? So the next time you're pulling up your first pull, notice how many times, like look at the tree rings essentially. You want a bunch of tree rings, right? So like look at these and see how far apart they are. If they were like much farther apart than this, then maybe you're not going slow enough. And maybe you're not pulling up enough that you like enough of the clay that you want. Okay, so let's go over our second pull. I should not have done that when it was dry and not moving. We're going to compress our rim. And this pull's a little bit faster, but also my clay's a little bit thinner up here, so we have to keep that in mind. And we're going to let the clay rotate at least 8 times around. See how aggressive this little bump is? We want that because that's going to be our lead up. And I'm going to put most of my strength and most of my force up until here, and then I'll ease off. And I'll go a little bit faster. So I'm going to push in and counteract with my middle finger on the other side. There we go. And that pull is, I think we've discussed this, but we'll go over it again. That pull is going to be middle finger on the bottom, middle finger counteracting, and pointer finger counteracting that middle finger. So they're basically crisscrossed so that the clay can move like through it, kind of going up. And look at how much clay is on the bottom, right? So this is a good, you know, somebody asked me like, how do you make something and not have to trim? Well, you take as much clay off of the base as you possibly can. So like while I'm here, I can clean that up, make it a cup, and I won't have to trim at all. So that's the first part of making our base, right? So yeah, so just remember, second pull, so I'll do a third pull in this one. So we're pushing in with our outside middle finger, we're counteracting with this finger, and then we're catching with the pointer finger. Ooh, and it just got dry. So don't be afraid to just take your hands off the clay, slow the wheel down, and start right over. Woo! Woof! Okay, and also, as you get to the top, you know it's going to want to Y out a lot more. That's when you're getting to the top, and, you know, sometimes I'll switch these, right, when I get to the top, because I'm not really pushing up clay. I'll move my outside finger to the top so that I'm going more straight than out. I'm not really concerned about this being like a Y or anything like that, but okay, so then if we wanted to, let's just say we wanted to make a nice little cup. I've got this nice, whoop, this nice base right here, and there's nothing going on right there, like it's just flat. And so then I can take it and create this weird little shape that's kind of ugly, and then clean it up. There we go. And then I can take this, boom. Now I've got a nice cleaned up base. If I wanted it to go out a little bit more, I'd just come down here, push it out. And now I could just let this dry, and even if it was flat, it would still look good. I don't have to, you know, I don't have to trim it. So, but because it is, but if I wanted to, I would cut it off, and then I'd just use a tool to just kind of, or my fingers just to pump in the bottom a little bit, and then there's no trimming. So there you go. Okay. We'll do another one. Tell me what you didn't understand in this video, and then we'll go over that again. But I would watch this a couple times just to kind of get an understanding of what it feels like. And remember, just go slower. Maybe move the wheel a tiny touch faster, or but also putting pressure in, like, how did I describe it the other day? Like, the amount of pressure that I'm putting into the side when it's like moving around is like, you know how when you have a headache and you're like, ugh, and you press against your temples really hard? And that's the amount of pressure, right? Like, if I had to put, you know when you like test plaster and it's a little bit too soft and you like push your finger in and it makes a little divot, that's the kind of pressure you're looking for. Or, I don't know. I don't even know. I should get a scale and like push down on it and tell you how many pounds of pressure, I suppose. But, you know, the more the better. When you're practicing, try to fuck up, like try to mess up. Try to take as much clay off the bottom as you possibly can. And then you can see where to back up and where not to. So, there you go. Those are my 2 tutorials. Well, one was on Tuesday, and one is on Friday. This one's going to be on Friday. I'm actually in Nashville right now, so woo! I mean, not right now. When you see this, I'll be in Nashville, so. Okay, bye!